So there's all kinds of emotions in that statement, and we have to kind of unpack that a little bit because this one, again, long time in the making. So, hello nerds, welcome back to your Nerd News Headlines show. In today's episode, we will be talking about some rumors around GoldenEye, as in the Nintendo 64 game. We also have some new sources and an expansion on some Doctor Strange rumors. We have Halo in the TV news section, as well as Bioshock in the movies news section. All of this and so much more. So let's jump into the episode proper. We don't really have any housekeeping to push right now. We are still doing the push for all of the socials. So if you have not found me on your favorite social outlet of choice, be that Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Getter, Gab, whatever you are on, I'm probably there too, and I'm just trying to get a few of those up over 1,000 followers so that we can get some more interviews and things on the channel, and people will start taking us a little bit more seriously here because we're trying to add positive input into the overall pop culture conversation. So that is the push. That's really the only housekeeping we've got. Just look for Generally Nerdy or, you know, the Nerdy Ninja, since that's my guy. And that out of the way, we have some shout outs to get to. So we're going to start things off in the shout out sections with Instagram shout outs. Our one and only Instagram shout out is actually a repeat follow. The Gladiator, the gaming guy, is the name of the follower over on the Instagram. He is also a follower on the TikTok. So thank you very much, Gladiator, for the follow. If you want to get your shout out for following on Instagram, then just look for it once again at Generally Nerdy. The Nerdy Ninja is the logo, and that is the place to be to get the news and such. Then we're going to talk real quick about our TikTok follows, and we have a few of those. So let's just start at the top of the list. 64 Ferguson, thank you very much, Nerd, for the follow. Ottariose, Mikey Likes It 1313, Pokeballking, as well as KSC Rapper. Thank you very much, nerds, for the follow. TikTok, being one of the easiest ones to post short form content to, actually gets quite a bit of extra content. So if you are just looking for more digestible content, then follow me there at Generally Nerdy once again. And then we have a couple of YouTube follows to get out of the way. Again, if you want your shout out for following on the YouTube, then you have to make your settings public so that people know when you're following them, because we got quite a few followers over the last week, but only 2 of them have their settings public, so they're the only 2 that are getting shout outs. Those 2 are Payroll Antoine and Funky Groove Junkie. Both of you followed over on the Nerd News channel, and there is a main channel. If you are so inclined to see the entirety of everything, then go check that out there. Otherwise, thank you, nerds, for the follow. Okay, so shout outs done. Let's get into news, starting things in the music section. No follow-ups to speak of, but we do have new music to talk about. So our first piece of new music comes from the Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters have released this new song, March of the Insane, kind of as a different band. They're going under the moniker of Dream Widow, but it's because it's a quasi-promotion for the new movie that they're putting out. This is definitely not what you're expecting out of a Foo Fighters track. It is a whole bunch of fun just because, I mean, everybody wants to be Dave Grohl when they grow up. So this is a further example of just how talented Grohl and company are, and in that they can really just exist in any genre they choose to. They just choose to be in a more rock and roll oriented genre, and they can really do whatever they want, and this is absolutely evidence of that. This is very much a heavier song than you would expect out of the Foo Fighters. It's a lot of fun, and the vocal performance actually is kind of surprising out of Dave Grohl. I don't know that I've heard a whole lot of this style from him at all, even on the Probot record, which he put out a few years ago, which is very metal inflected. So yeah, really interesting. Go check it out. Link in the description. Moving on. Our next one is also kind of metal inflected from a non-metal act, and that is Jack White. Gave us another solo track. The name of this one is Fear of the Dawn. This is also the title track of the record that it is coming out on. Jack White is releasing 2 new albums, Fear of the Dawn being the first one that's coming out on April 8th, and then Entering Heaven Alive is the name of the second one, and that is July 22nd. And then shortly after the release of the second record, he's going on tour. So yeah, if you have yet to see Jack White, he's about to be supporting 2 albums apparently. This song very specifically though, a lot of fun. A little bit more produced than the last one, which is really interesting because the last single that he released was much more synth heavy, but he kind of folded that synth in as so that it felt more like bass, whereas this one he uses a theremin, and that seems more produced, even though that's technically an analog thing. It's just... Jack White is some kind of musical genius. This song is a fantastic addition to the oeuvre that is his collection. Definitely go check it out. Link down in the description. And our final piece of new music has to do with one of my favorites of all time, and that is the band Converge. Nothing new, technically speaking here. They are re-releasing the Poacher Diaries. They have been remixed and remastered, remixed by Kurt Ballou, guitar player and producer extraordinaire from the band. And the remix album will be out March 18th. They have re-released, because again, not new music technically, the song Locust Rain. It is out now. You can go follow the link down in the description. Honestly, found this one as I was walking to the studio to record today, so I have yet to listen to the track. It is old Converge, so it is going to be pretty abrasive. I can tell you that already. Again, without having listened to the new mix, I'm pretty sure I've listened to this record, even though it's not one that I actually have in the collection. But either way, again, early Converge, very, very, very grating to the ears. If that is your style, then I'm just gonna recommend this blind. I can't see any scenario where I'm not gonna dig this tune though. Okay, new music out of the way, we have tours to discuss. And honestly, we already kind of talked about once. We're just going to get into that one. April 8th through August 29th, Jack White is supporting, once again, 2 new records. Yeah, just super excited to potentially go see Jack again. I'm really interested. So far, the 2 singles he's released off of this first record have been phenomenal, have been absolutely fantastic, so no reason why they would not, the rest of the album would not also follow suit, so very excited for that record. It sounds like, just going based off of the album titles, it sounds like the second record is going to be a little bit different in that it might not be quite so rock and roll, but I mean... we really don't know. At this point in Jack White's career, we really don't know. But either way, he's going on tour once again, starting April... Oh no, I just lost it. April 8th through August 29th. If you want tickets, you can follow the link down in the description. Our next tour is an updated tour. This is Rage Against the Machine. Remember, they had to cancel a whole slew of tour dates. Well, they have rescheduled those tour dates for this year through next year. So starting July 9th, running through August 14th of 2022 are the first round of rescheduled dates, and then February 22nd through April 2nd of 2023 is the second round of rescheduled dates. Once again, if you do not already have tickets for this, then you can find a link down in the description. If you did buy tickets when these dates were originally announced, then they will honor your original tickets. You do have until March 15th, I believe, if you are unable to make the rescheduled dates to get your refund. All of that information, though, can be found if you follow the link in the description. Which now leads us into the suggestions for this episode. In music, we're talking about The Simpsons Sing the Blues. So this suggestions section, I'm just kind of throwing things out there that are not only good quality music, but like quality nerdy music. And what's more nerdy than music that comes from an animated series? Not a whole lot. So this is actually nerdy on multiple levels, because this is The Simpsons doing covers of, they're not really blues standards, mostly. There are a couple of original tunes on here, but there are a few other quasi-popular blues tunes that have that Simpsons flair added to them, and it's really a fun record. It came out in the 90s. I had the cassette tape back in the day, so it's definitely worth a listen. And that is suggestions for the music section. Let's roll now into gaming and tech. This has been quite an interesting section for this last week, and that's largely because we got some pretty big trailers that have come out. One very specifically launched this morning before I came to film, as while I was finishing up the research, and that is Star Wars Old Republic Legacy of the Sith. Released its cinematic teaser trailer, and this is pretty freaking epic. We have Darth Malgus in this game. I don't remember if we've talked about this or if this was an announcement of the game as well. I do remember that there are a number of Old Republic projects in the works, and I can't remember if this was specifically one that we talked about before on the channel or not, but either way, go check out that trailer because it looks freaking, like, it almost looked like it could have been a movie. Like, for a couple of seconds in the trailer, I was like, is this a... Wait, no, it said Lucasfilm Games at the beginning, so it's a game, right? Anyway, go check it out. Our next game was announced at the Game Awards, and that is Dune Spice Wars. We got an official full-length trailer for this game, our real-time strategy. I really dig the RTS genre. I am a giant Dune fan, and I have a Steam account. So if this comes out at the right price point, I'm very probably going to play it, though I am wasting a whole lot of time on Halo these days, so I don't know. It's sub $20. If it launches sub $20, then we're gonna get it when it launches. Otherwise, probably gonna wait until it's sub $20. But either way, looks pretty awesome. New trailer kind of builds the hype a little bit. I don't know. It seems like the Dune fan base is not typical of other nerddoms, I guess, or geekdoms, or fandoms, however you want to put that. It seems like peripheral things don't get as much hype as they should because the book series is significantly old at this point. So I don't know, it's a weird situation. I also feel like a lot of the people who try and put out content dealing with this universe largely miss the point, save for apparently Denis Villeneuve, and that's a whole other conversation. Either way, go check out the trailer. And then our final trailer for the gaming section is Dead by Daylight has announced the next chapter's ghost or killer, I guess is how they list these. And it's the girl from The Ring, or Ringu, or whichever you want to say it. Sadako from The Ring is the new killer, and this looks creepy as hell. Also, it's going to be a little bit of a change in gameplay for this new chapter. They've talked about how there's going to be a lot more suspense elements here and a lot less cheap jump scares. I don't know how that's going to work out in the game, but that's what they're saying. So go check out the trailer and let me know what you think in the comments. And then we have some regular old news in the gaming section, and that is Nintendo. This time we're not talking about something that they're doing that's surprising. This is actually kind of a long time coming, and that is the Wii U and the 3DS are going to be losing their eShop support in March of 2023. So you have some time. They're slowly going to be phasing out all of the things that you can do in the eShop until we get to March of next year, at which point it will just be closed altogether. There is still a fair amount of games that are in those two respective eShops that are not yet available on the Switch. So the hope is by the time that happens, we will be able to purchase our Switch games, and it won't be a big deal. Though, if you have purchased and for whatever reason you lose a game that you have purchased for your Wii U or your 3DS, then fret not. The ability to re-download existing paid-for games will maintain for the foreseeable future. Those are Nintendo's words, not mine. So if you have already paid for a game, then re-downloads should be not a problem, at least for a little while longer. And all of that brings us to suggestions for gaming this week. Our suggestion, because I did screw up the release date for Elden Ring last time, we're going to do a suggestion of Bloodborne, or any of the Souls, but specifically I'm thinking Bloodborne here because just it strikes me as the flagship Miyazaki game. So in preparation for Elden Ring next week, week and a half, something like that, then get yourself through, see if you can speed run. Yeah, right. See how long it takes you to get through another run of Bloodborne while you're waiting on Elden Ring. That is our suggestions for gaming, though, this week, nerd. Let's get into comic books and books. We have Captain Marvel piece of news in the comic book section, and that's kind of be our big one. So Captain Marvel is on her way out in the comic books. Very strange. So it would seem with the previews that are giving us the previews for Captain Marvel issue number 36 through 38, Carol Danvers is going to disappear, and in her place is going to be replaced with a different version of the superhero Binary. Now, in previous iterations, Binary has been just a different moniker for Carol Danvers, though this time, very specifically, Carol is not, supposedly, is not going to be a part of that picture. She's going to disappear mysteriously, and then Binary is going to show up and act as Captain Marvel in search for Carol Danvers, which is very interesting. We'll see if that's actually the way it goes. It seems very convenient considering the trailer that we just got for the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, because we might have saw Binary in that trailer. I don't know. We're going to get to that in the movie section and then in the rumor section. But if that is the case, then it's going to be backed up here in the comic book section, because that is the way Feige is want to run his business these days. So I'm pretty interested in that. We'll see how that goes in the comic books, but that's our only real piece of news for comic books. We do have suggestions in comic books. And the suggestion this week for comic books is actually probably not one of the greatest comic books ever. I'm going to just lead with that. It is Deadpool vs. Carnage. There is a trade that collects, I believe it was like a 6-issue run. It might have been an 8-issue run. Just two of my favorite characters. It could have been much better. I am definitely going to admit that, but it is a really fun read if you like either or both of those two characters. I think it scratches an itch that I didn't know I had. So that's our suggestion for the comic book section this week, guys. Now let's get into TV streaming. And in TV streaming, we have a follow-up for the Halo series over on Paramount Plus. So Halo, before it launches on March 24th, is already getting a second season. And there's already talk about potentially a third season as well, though that's rumor. There's also rumor that the March 24th release date could theoretically get pushed back a little bit. That, though, is only rumor. We're not going to be addressing that in the rumors section because I don't think there's really any grounds there, and it's not a whole lot of fun to speculate on because we already have confirmation from this announcement that we are going to see a second season, so why would they? Whatever. Second season of Halo has been announced. No release date for it yet, though season 1 releases March 24th. Then we have trailers for the TV streaming section, and this is, we kind of saw a couple of these coming. So let's start with Moon Knight, which we got during the Super Bowl. We got a second full-length trailer. It didn't necessarily air during, whatever. So this new Moon Knight trailer looks pretty. It just makes it that much more hype. There's not a whole lot. Again, not the biggest Moon Knight reader. We did get a little bit of the darkness that we're going to be seeing in this. It has been made known that this is going to be like DC dark, I think was the way somebody described it at one point. This is going to be a dark series for Disney Plus. So I'm pretty intrigued by that, being as it still has to maintain roughly a PG-13 aesthetic. how dark can we go with that consideration? From the looks of this trailer, not like super, not like frighteningly dark, but pretty dark, man. So definitely go follow the link down in the description if you have yet to watch this. It is going to hype you up even more for this new series. Our next trailer, and this is a whole different feeling. We have the Lord of the Rings of Power, I believe that was the subtitle. Rings of Power. New trailer for that, new full-length trailer. Still feels really weird seeing elves with short hair. They didn't show us any dwarf women, so I can't say anything about the beardless dwarf women. Again, strange thing to have changed considering the modern social climate. You're gonna remove the women with beards? Just whatever. So the thing there is, I'm definitely of two minds on this trailer because, like I said, elves with short hair, and we know that there's going to be a lot of political messaging in here, but the scope and like just the intensity of this storytelling, from the looks of this trailer, might make up for that a little bit. I'm gonna hold out hope that the storytelling is going to be as such that we can overlook the changes and the obvious political grandstanding. Either way, go check it out and form your own opinion so we can talk about that down in the comments. And then let's get into news for the TV streaming section. And we have one piece of news, and that is Sonic the Hedgehog. We have a Sonic live-action series has just been announced, as well as, from Sega, as well as a third live-action Sonic movie. It could have put it in either the movie section or the TV section, but the TV is, kind of light this week, so there you go. But yeah, we do have official announcement that a live-action series is in the works, as well as another movie. The live-action series is reportedly going to be focusing on Knuckles more specifically, and the movies will remain a Sonic-based vehicle for the foreseeable future. So really awesome there. And then from there, we're going to jump into TV streaming suggestions. And this is going to be a little bit different than we've been doing before because I need someone to bounce stuff off of because I don't know what to make of this new Bel-Air series on Peacock. They made some changes that I think are really cool, like the way they deal with Ashley. I think that doing a different tone for the series is a lot of fun to see, but I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about Carlton, and I don't know how I feel about Aunt Viv, and kind of some of the changes, and especially Uncle Phil. I feel like I don't really appreciate the change to Uncle Phil that we got, but overall, I really am kind of 6 one way, half a dozen the next. So you guys go check it out. Let's have the conversation of what you think of that series down in the comments, and maybe I'll choose a side. I don't know. But the other suggestion for this episode is Solos over on Amazon Prime. It is a science fiction series, anthological in nature. It is a lot of fun. There are a couple of not great episodes. They're only approximately 20-25 minutes each, so it is not something that you have to kind of grit your teeth and bear. They're over pretty quick. Most of the episodes though are phenomenal. The Morgan Freeman episode and the Helen Mirren episode very specifically jump to mind as being some of the best. So definitely go check out Solos over on Amazon Prime, and those are our suggestions for TV streaming. Before we get any deeper into this, nerds, then I'm just jumping in real quick to remind you, if you have not already, now is the perfect time to hit the thumbs up. Let the algorithm gods know that you love what is going, or that you at least appreciate even slightly what's going on here on the channel, and you want at least a little bit more. That is the best way to do it, is smashing that thumbs up. Or just whichever algorithm you're on, letting the algorithm know, hey, this is good stuff. If it's Rumble, send me a Rumble. Facebook, then that's also a thumbs up, all the things. So do that. If you haven't subscribed, then maybe do that if you want to as well. That one's a little less important these days, but either way, it helps. And we're getting back into all of the nerdy news. Now we get into movies. All right, no follow-ups, no anything like that here, but we do have trailers. We got the trailer that came out shortly after the Super Bowl on Sunday for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Whoa, wow. What did I just watch? What just happened? Did they just show us the Illuminati without saying it's the Illuminati, and absolutely showed us that Patrick Stewart's Professor Xavier is going to be in this, but everything else is being left up to speculation. We are going to touch on that speculation in the rumors section, so stick around for that. But wow, if you have not yet watched this new trailer, then you should go watch it probably a dozen times and see all of the things that you missed the first 10 times you watched it, because there is a lot of stuff going on in this trailer. And if this doesn't do anything to hype you up, then I feel like you probably don't have a pulse. I honestly am amazed at how Marvel, it's not quite to the same level, but they are maintaining everyone's interest and crazy amounts of hype in this machine going. Yeah, this trailer is just further evidence of that, so go check it out, link in the description. Our other trailer that we got also during the Super Bowl was for Jordan Peele's Nope. This is the third trailer I believe we have received for this. And this one, I think, gives us a little bit better look at what's potentially going to happen in this. It's like a Western version of whatever it is that Jordan Peele likes to do. This, I think, from what the trailer looks like, it's probably going to be my favorite of his horror movies. I'm really interested to see this movie, and it's all, I think, all because of this trailer. In previous trailers, not as much. So yeah, that's what we have for trailers this episode. Let's get into news, and we're just gonna come out swinging on this one. We have news from Netflix. The Bioshock movie that we have been hearing about for literally years at this point is apparently actually going to come to fruition, and it is going to come via Netflix. So there's all kinds of emotions in that statement, and we have to kind of unpack that a little bit, because this one, again, long time in the making. So we have heard rumor of a Bioshock movie basically since the second game. Since the second game was released, around that time is when we first started hearing about the want to make a Bioshock movie, because it was such a popular franchise at the time. With the release of the second game, kind of popularity dipped down a little bit. Release of the third game brought it back up, but not to the same height. But it is always going to be an amazing classic video game, one of the greatest games, probably going to go down in history as one of the greatest games ever. So we have that going for it. And then we have the fact that somehow Netflix got the rights for this. Now, Netflix, for a little while, was kind of hit and miss with their adaptations. By and large, they were about 50-50. In more recent years, that has significantly dipped down. They have not done super well with their adaptations recently. I'm looking at you, Cowboy Bebop. What the hell was that? So that when I saw Netflix movie coming out, and then Bioshock movie coming out from Netflix, I was super excited until that last word, and at that point it was, what do I make of this? So there is still a possibility that this is going to be something worth watching. I mean, we're all going to watch it anyway because it's freaking Bioshock. But yeah, I just don't know. How do you feel about the fact that Netflix is the one that was given the honor to make this movie? I don't have the best of hopes for this one anymore. Sad to say, but it is true. And then we're jumping over to HBO Max. We have an announcement from the DC Extended Universe. We're going to be getting another superhero movie direct to HBO Max, and this is the Wonder Twins. This is very interesting. So Wonder Twins, the movie is going to be directed and written by Adam Sztykiel. I know I didn't say that right, and I apologize, but I don't know how to kind of pronounce that. So that's what we're going with. He is the writer for the Black Adam movie, so a little bit of clout there. He's got a couple other nerdy credits under his belt, but that's kind of the biggest one. So kind of our hype level is dependent on how well the Black Adam movie does. But he's not directing Black Adam, he only wrote it. He's also directing this Wonder Twins show, or movie rather. So very interesting. This is quite the gamble from HBO Max, because this is now the technically the third, but only the second actual movie that they're developing that is superhero based, that is going direct to their streaming service. It started out that Blue Beetle was also going to be that, but that got so much hype that they're getting a theatrical release for it. Batgirl, though, somehow is still only coming out on HBO Max, which is very strange because Michael Keaton and Batman related, so wouldn't that be bigger than the Blue Beetle? Whatever. But Wonder Twins, I mean, there is a history there. There is a long history there, but it is a cartoon history. And then a comic that kind of doesn't do super well, but has been around for freaking ever. So very interested to see where this is going to go, if they're going to play this for laughs, kind of like the cartoon, or if they're going to try and make this into something serious like they're doing with Black Adam. No real signs to tell us one way or the next just yet, but we will be keeping tabs on that. So let's move right along to our next piece, which is Star Trek. This one actually probably should have gone in follow-ups, but whatever, man. Star Trek 4, the fourth movie in the Kelvin timeline, has officially been greenlit by Paramount. It is going to happen probably. They're so early in this process, though, that they have yet to sign contracts with the cast. So Chris Pine and company, Zachary Quinto, Zoe Saldana, those are the only names that are coming. Carl Urban, there we go. Nobody has officially signed on to play the roles that they played in the last 3 movies just yet. That's how green this is. It literally just happened. But it sounds like it is a pretty much in the bag that all of the main cast are going to return. John Cho also. So if we get that, I'm very interested to see what happens with the Kelvin timeline, because this is the only stuff that's happening technically in this timeline. Everything else is in the original timeline, Discovery included. So yeah, very, very curious what's going on here. Our next one has to do with Sonic. We've already talked about it in the TV section. Movie announced. But we talked about it, so we're moving on. Our final piece is a little bit of a downer for the movie section, and that is Ivan Reitman, the legendary screenwriter, director of the original Ghostbusters movie, has passed away at the age of 75. It was apparently in his sleep. No official cause of death has been released just yet, but let's take a brief Slimer-filled moment to remember the contributions of Ivan Reitman to the conversation and just the awesomeness that was most of his movies. And sadly, we're moving along, flowing on into suggestions for the movie section. So this one was a little bit difficult. Obviously, I'm going to suggest you go back and watch the Reitman Ghostbusters. Actually, watch the 3 proper Ghostbusters movies, which would be Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, and then the one that came out last year, 2021, Ghostbusters Afterlife. So that's the obvious. But then as far as like the something new to you, I kind of had to rack my brain a little bit, but new movie on Netflix called Big Bug. If you are okay with subtitles, because it is a French movie, Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who did the movie Amélie, which is one of the most beautiful movies you're ever going to see, did a quirky little sci-fi flick that honestly has a really great introduction into the AI conversation that we like to have here on the channel. So very thought-provoking little comedy movie from the guy that brought us Amelie. Yeah, worth a watch, 100%. Go watch all 4 of those movies. That is our suggestions, though, for the movie section for this episode. This is a real quick reminder that our regularly scheduled Friday night stream over on youtube.com/generallynerdy is not happening this week. My apologies, nerds, but with, Valentine's Day being a thing, I had to swap my Monday for my Friday, and day job pays the bills, so had to take priority. Either way, I appreciate you for your patience. There will be plenty of shorts content posted in the meantime, and now back to the news. Now let's get into the rumor mill. So, confirmations, refutations, confirmations, all of the Super Bowl ads that we called. I'm not really taking that one because, that was obvious that we were going to get pretty much all of those. It wasn't obvious what was going to happen in those, but by and large, we knew what was coming. So, not really going to take the win on that one necessarily. So let's get into the new sources. These are rumors that we have previously heard, but now we have new sources to expand or refine on those rumors. So we have a couple of rumors in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. First one being that Tom Cruise has returned to the rumor mill. This time, though, not as Iron Man, and also potentially not as just a cameo. This new rumor has that Tom Cruise will be in the Multiverse of Madness, but will be as a new character to the MCU and as some sort of recurring part in other movies as well. So not just a one-off cameo for the Multiverse of Madness. Very interesting. Don't know if I believe that. I really think we are going to see Tom Cruise as a very brief cameo as Iron Man. That's just my personal belief, but we're not to the percentages just yet. So that is our first rumor. Our second rumor is that we have the official, quote unquote, according to this is a leak, that we know who the Illuminati is going to be, and that is Patrick Stewart's Professor X, Ian McKellen's Magneto, variant Black Bolt, played by Anson Mount, who was on the TV show, Teyonah Parris as Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel, Haley Atwell's Captain Carter, Eric Bana's Bruce Banner, Ian Gruffaud's, Mr. Fantastic, and Tom Cruise's Iron Man, plus a Mordo variant, who is the Sorcerer Supreme, and Bruce Campbell as Balder the Brave, who is Thor's half-brother in a different universe. So, that is entirely too large to give any credence to. So let's get into percentages that either of these things are accurate. So the first one being Tom Cruise not coming in as Iron Man. We've heard way too much behind the scenes for this to give us anything close to halfway. There is a lot of evidence saying that he is not going to be anything more than a cameo, which lends us to believe that he's going to come in where Feige kind of originally wanted him, and that is Iron Man. So the idea that Tom Cruise is going to have some sort of recurring role and also is not going to be Iron Man, very slim possibility there. I'm going to put that one at about 25% likely. As far as that casting list for the Illuminati, that sounds like some basement dweller's wet dream casting that will just never freaking happen. So the likelihood that all of those are Illuminati, I'm going to put that at 10%, and I think that's being generous. Obviously, we have Patrick Stewart's Professor X in there, so some of those are going to be accurate. I think a couple of those characters are more likely than the actors. Specifically, I'm looking at Black Bolt, played by Anson Mount. Potentially, I don't think that'll be the Illuminati version. I would be willing to bet that the Illuminati version of Black Bolt will be Vin Diesel. But that's just me. I have no real basis for that, aside from that's a little more fan servicey than rehashing that god-awful Inhumans series. So, but yeah, I feel like some of these will be, I mean, obviously Monica Rambeau is going to be in the movie, but she's not going to be the Illuminati. That's not going to be the way that works out. We're going to see an epic lineup for the Illuminati, but it's only probably going to be 4 or 5 characters. It's not going to be, what is this, 8, 9 characters? This is ridiculous. ridiculous. No, 10% likelihood. Anyway, moving right along, our next news source rumor, because this one has been rumored for quite some time and actually kind of sort of confirmed to a certain degree. We're talking GoldenEye 007, the original Nintendo 64 game, is getting a rehash. Well, has already received a rehash that was supposed to be launched on the Xbox 360, but it never officially happened. If you know where to get it, you can now play that build of the game, but it was not officially released. Well, according to new sources, there is an official plan to announce that build, kind of, for not just the Xbox systems, but also the Nintendo Switch. Reportedly, the announcement is going to be coming soonish. What that means, who freaking knows, but soonish, and yeah, it's going to be, again, Switch and Nintendo, or Switch and Xbox systems. Does not specifically say if it's going to only be series systems or one and the series, but I would say probably one and series, because they're still not selling as many series units as they would like. Either way, the likelihood for this news source to be accurate, I feel like there's, again, feels like a little bit of a basement dweller's wet dream, because I'm not super likely it's going to be cross-platform like that. Rare is owned by Microsoft, so if it comes out, it will very likely only be on the Xbox consoles. I will be a little generous on this one, though, and we'll put this one at about 40%. I know that's below the halfway mark, because I really feel like there's plenty of evidence that suggests that at the Nintendo portion of this is what kills it. So yeah, 40% likely that this is legit, and we're moving on. So our next piece of rumor is in the Star Wars universe, Obi-Wan series. We have rumor that Jimmy Smits is going to be reprising his role as Bail Organa. Why not? We already know that this movie is going to pick up when Luke and Leia are babies, our little baby children, and so, like, at the very, very least, we're going to see Bail Organa in the first episode, where we pick up with these kids getting separated. So that right there, we're going to need him as part of the story anyway. So we're putting this, I will be very, very surprised if he is not in this series. We're going to put this one at 85% likely. Then we have a Marvel TV rumor. So Disney Plus, I guess technically, but Disney Plus is reportedly working behind the scenes right now on a series that is going to give us not just Daredevil and the Punisher, but Daredevil, Punisher versus Kingpin, as played by Vincent D'Onofrio, Charlie Cox, and I'm brain farting the Punisher's real name. Either way, yeah, rumor has it that this is the thing. There is so much garbage rumors out there. Not that I don't think something like this will happen to some degree eventually. I don't think it's happening right now. I don't think it's going to be all three of those characters actively in the series. It might be Daredevil and Kingpin again. We might get that rematch for sure. I don't know. We're so far away from that happening that I feel like it's much, much too early to call. But super weak source, super weak information. We're going to drop this one a little bit below halfway, because again, I don't think it's actively being worked on. It will potentially happen down the road, though. So about 40% that we'll see this in the next 2 years. And then let's talk about Gotham Knights, the CW show, not the game. The CW show, we are still kind of in the dark as to who exactly are going to be the quote-unquote knights in this series, but a new rumor has it that we're going to be seeing Dick Grayson, Nightwing, we're going to be seeing Stephanie Brown, Spoiler, and Harper Row, Bluebird. So Spoiler, Bluebird, Nightwing are all part of the Bat family in the comics, and they are also children of kind of lesser known rogues from Batman's gallery. So this would be awesome if it's true. This is definitely, like, I don't want to give this source a whole lot of credit because they've been very wrong in the past. So we're going to probably put this one right about 50%. But that's only because of my trepidation on the source. I really want this to be the case. I just don't... until we can get another more solid source to corroborate or the official announcement, I can't give it any more credence than that. So 50% likelihood that that is going to be our cast of characters for the Gotham Knights series. There is plenty more nerd news and rumors squashing, confirming all of the things in previous episodes. So if you want to go check those out, then by all means, nerds, you can do that by clicking or tapping one of the boxes that happens to be popping up right there to the side of my face. If you're just listening, then go check out the YouTube channel. If you're on the YouTube channel, there is an audio source. You can find all of this stuff over on generallynerdy.net. YouTube.com/generallynerdy, all of the places. Thank you very much, nerds. If you're falling behind in your nerd news, then again, click or tap the stuff. So we'll see you in the next one. Before we go, though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.